Hey everyone, welcome to Steph and Key TV. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you do any or all of those things, it really helps our channel. So please do that. And please let me know what you thought of today's video in the comments below. All right, Atlanta, let's get into it. So we are on episode 8 of season 13. We open up where we left off. The women are pissed, especially Portia, about seeing Kenya's baby there and them not being able to bring their babies. Like I said before, I feel like as a host or hostess, you should make sure that you communicate to your guest that you are doing things so that they are able to do the same. So if you are bringing your baby, you should offer the other women the chance to bring their babies if they want. They can bring a nanny, have the baby in the nanny in the separate quarters like Kenya is doing, and that's completely fine. Just offer it. I have no problem with Kenya bringing her baby on this girl trip and having the nanny separate and the baby separate. But I do have a problem that she didn't extend the offer. And the whole thing with the private jet as well. Just tell them, like, hey, make arrangements. I'm doing this. You can make arrangements to do that, or you can get on the Sprinter. This is just terrible hosting. It just is. But Candy does communicate to the other women. Like, Kenya doesn't have help like we have help. She can't just leave her baby somewhere where she's not over days at a time because Mark, that crazy behind, she's never left Brooklyn alone with him. She's always been there. She has a new nanny, but she doesn't feel comfortable leaving Brooklyn with the nanny that she's just getting to know. So that's why they're both there. It's just like, it is what it is. Kenya has to bring her baby until she finds help and that she's comfortable enough to leave Brooklyn with. So I'm glad that they're still pissed, but I'm glad they're a lot more understanding, and hopefully this can be squashed and it won't ruin the trip. So Kenya's planning like a murder mystery party for the ladies. This is not the first time the Real Housewives have tried to do murder mystery. It just never goes well. It never does. Either they can't continue on with it. Somebody gives up quickly. It's just boring. I'd rather play I don't know, like a board game, some cards, maybe some spades, catchphrase. Me and my friends used to play catchphrase a lot. It's a lot of fun. You should try it. But I would not be down for this murder mystery. But Cynthia comes in. She actually arrives early. I thought she was supposed to be leaving 2 hours after the other ladies, but she gets there before them, which was weird. But she comes and she's like, it was a long ass trip. But I know these other ladies are gonna be pissed that you two flew private. And in her confessional, she's like, yeah, Kenya is just not starting off right on this trip, but hopefully I got a good room. They take Cynthia to her room. It's a beautiful room, huge, and she has a nice jacuzzi tub, so she's happy. I don't know how these other ladies are going to react because it's a long trip and they've been pissed half the time. All right, so Kenya has name tags. Cynthia's like, why? Kenya's like, I want everyone to have alter egos, so write your alter egos on your name tag and that's going to be our name for the night. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to remember all these names, so I wrote them down. Tanya is Die Nasty. Shamia is Vagina Drip. Okay, no. That's nasty. Candy is Angel because like Candy said, her name is Candy. So that's most stripper names anyways. So she's like, what am I gonna be? So they take her name from the Masked Singer, and it was something Angel. So she just went with Angel. Drew is Miss Lickety Split. What? I don't understand these names. But those are a little bit more creative. But Kenya's is Chocolate, which is kind of boring to me. Toya is Trini Gal. I mean, she's Trinidadian, so I feel like that's boring too. Come up with something more creative. Marlo is Diva. That's boring. Cynthia is 50 Cent, short for Cynthia, which I guess works. And then Portia is Peach Juice. Oh, what kind of stripper name is Peach Juice? Peaches, I understand, but Peach Juice? Okay, and there's a lot of women on this trip. I was writing these names. I was like, gosh damn, there's a lot of women on this trip. So we know it's gonna be some hot mess. Oh my gosh, So the girls get there, they're trying to drink and have a good time. Then the murder mystery just starts. Great. with the fake dying. The police come over, the fake cops come in, Portia jumps over the couch. It's a mess. It's a mess. Nobody really understands what's going on. Tanya and Candy are the only ones participating. Like, Drew is like, this is the most ghetto murder mystery I've ever been to. It's a mess. Toya brought a photographer who's taking pictures. It's okay. It's like a mess. Half the women aren't paying attention or participating. Finally, Kenya gives up and just says, oh, it's the murderer. And then they solve it. It's done. Like I said, this is what I said. Kenya, I could have told you this was not going to work out. It always like goes to crap. The person who starts it, just like Dorinda from New York, she just called it out and it was over. The same thing happened with Kenya. She's all mad, but it's like, whatever. Like, I told you this was coming. So she gives Tanya the bonus room because whoever like guessed it right was going to get a bonus room if they didn't like their room. And she says Tanya tried the hardest, which she did. I felt like it was Tanya and Candy. You could tell Candy was a little bit of a sore loser. I would have been as well because I'm competitive. But she gives it to Tanya and they move on because like this is not working out. Fallon comes in, so the girls are like ready to like keep the party going, be done with this murder mystery, and just have a good night. So Fallon has brought her husband. They're staying in a separate villa. That pisses Toya off because it's supposed to be like a girls' trip. And Drew's like, don't worry about it, Fallon, because she don't even care about husbands. And that pisses Toya off even more. So they walk around and start looking at the rooms. And Toya's like, wait, what did you say? What did you say about me? And Drew's like, I said you don't care about husbands. And they keep walking. They go into Candy's room. Candy's like loving her room. She's on the bed, twerking. And Cynthia is moving her legs open and closed. I'm like, Cynthia is forever trying to get into Candy's pants. Like, forever. Allegedly. And they're having a good time, but like Toya's still pissed. So she grabs Drew and says, let's talk about your struggling husband. And Drew's like, you don't know nothing about my struggling husband. And then don't put your hands on me. And Fallon starts to back her up. They start going at it. And Candy's like, can y'all take this out of my room, please? And Kenya tries to pull Toya. Toya's like, don't touch me. And she's like, oh, I'm just trying to calm the situation down. Drew's like, you don't want to mess with me. I'm from Chicago. The last girl who put her hands on me got her head rammed into a gate. I was like, oh my gosh. What's going on? So Candy is trying to get them out of her room to get all of this hostility out. She's like, I'm trying to have a good time. Can y'all move this away from me, please? Oh my gosh. Clearly Toya has had too much to drink. Because they pull her out of the room. Everybody comes out of the room. Drew is talking to Fallon and Cynthia. Marlo and the rest of them are trying to calm down Toya and being like, look, you can't touch her. It's not right, okay? You can, like, we can throw blows as far as, like, verbally, but you can't grab someone. And Candy was like, it was aggressive. And even Kenya's like, please, like, can you just apologize and, like, squash this? And so Drew's pissed. Everybody's on Drew's side, even Kenya. And she tells LaToya to apologize. So she tries to walk up to her and they're like, no, please just back up and apologize from a distance. So she apologizes and she's like, I'm sorry for touching you. And Drew's like, okay, thank you. And she's like, can I touch you now? And Drew's like, don't touch me ever. and Toya's like, I want to touch your hair. And I'm like, what is this? She is like really like she's trying Drew. I know it's because she's drunk, but it's also like, you know, we like tell the truth when we're drunk. So I feel like she's really trying to come at Drew. And I feel like the problem is, like, I feel like Toya can dish it, but she can't take it. Because she's been saying stuff about Drew's wig behind her back to everybody. Drew said something about Toya in front of everyone, and she couldn't handle it. And it doesn't help that she's drunk, but she couldn't handle it. I feel like Drew said, like, what she said about her husband, like, you don't care about husbands, but she said it to her face, and she said it in front of everyone. She repeated it. She's like, I didn't stutter. I said what I said. And, like, but it's okay for Toya to talk all this mess behind Drew's back, and now she's offended because of this comment. I'm just like, okay, whatever, Toya. She's gonna cause mess that doesn't need to even be there, especially on a fun girls trip. They were having such a good time. So they finally calm this mess down. They go to look at the other rooms. Everybody gets their room. They like it, except for Marlo. But we knew this was gonna happen because Kenya gave her the worst room. And I mean, it's a fine room to me, but we know it was a shady gesture, and Marlo did not appreciate it. So when Kenya's laughing, but I mean, hey, you can't talk mess about the host and expect a good room. So she'll know better for next time. So they go and they're eating. Everyone's sitting down eating, and then Shamia and Portia get up to go eat. Oh, with Marlo in, I think, Shamia's room, and the rest of the girls are sitting. And then one by one they leave, and they all go except for Kenya, Candy, Cynthia, and Toya are the ones left sitting at the table. So everybody's in separate rooms, and they're like, what happened? What's going on? And Drew's like, look, we can say whatever we want to say, but don't put your hands on me. And they feel the same. They feel like Toya pushes buttons, which she does. I mean, like, they try to, at first I was like, she's like a little mini Kenya, but she's worse. And I feel like, I think I said she's worse. Like, Kenya is pretty chill at this party. Maybe because like Brooklyn's here and she's just like, I'm not trying to cause no mess. But I feel like Kenya's pretty chill. Toya is on 10. And then the rest of the ladies ask Toya like, what's going on? And she's like, well, I'm from Trinidad. I'm very touchy-feely, but you can't touch nobody. And they're like, especially when you're insulting them, you can't. And she's like, well, she insulted me first. Yes, Toya, she insulted you, but she didn't put her hands on you. And that's the difference. So you crossed the line, and now everybody's looking at you sideways. Like, this night is like on high level 10 when it didn't need to be. Everybody was having a good time, and now everybody's separated and talking mess. So Cynthia lets Toya know, like, hey, you threw the first shot by talking about her wig. She found out about it, so there's been secretly beefing between you two this whole time. So Toya's like, well, I'm going to address it since she knows about it now. And they're like, maybe not right now, later. And then in the other room, the other women are like, we're ready to have fun, have a good time. The other women are like so judgy and frown face. They're the aunties, we're the nieces. And they come out and they have the drinks. At least they let the ladies know that, like, we calling you the aunties. And Cynthia's like, wait a minute. Okay, shade. But like, she accepts it. Like, there's no more drama, at least, except for Kenya and Marlo. And Kenya's like, well, hey, when you insult the host, you get the worst room. And Marlo's like, well, I farted and coughed on your bed. And Kenya's like, of course you did. So it's just like, Marlo is a mess. And I don't blame Cynthia. She's like, I'm always in the middle of this drama and I'm tired of it. So Marlo says she's not sleeping in her room, which was not that bad of a room. She's going to sleep in the living room on couches. So she has Fallon help her push the couches together. I'm like, really, Marlo? This is dramatic. Like, even for Marlo, like, enough. So the ladies go to bed. Fallon leaves. Brooklyn, the nanny brings over Brooklyn, and Kenya takes her up to her room to go to sleep. I'm glad this night is over because they're a mess. So the ladies wake up in the morning. Kenya's making breakfast for her and Brooklyn. Marlo pops up. Kenya's like, I didn't even know you were there. Marlo throws shade about how she wanted to sleep out here because it makes her feel like she's in a suite. Whatever, Marlo. Cynthia's talking to Mike, talking about she wanted to get some of the sun before the shade comes. He's like, not the shade. And she's like, it's coming. And we know it's coming. The rest of the ladies start making breakfast. Shamia comes out and tells Candy that she was calling them the aunties because they don't want to have fun and all this stuff. And Candy's like, y'all were trying to fight on the first night. Y'all nieces were trying to fight, and I ain't got time for that. And I'm with Candy. And in her confessional, Candy's like, okay, Shamia, so now you're hanging out with Portia and them, and now I'm the auntie? You're supposed to be my girl. And I'm like, really, Shamia? Like, I feel like, don't be that friend of the show who's thinks she's better than the actual person on the show. Don't do that. Especially, don't be throwing shade at Candy when she's been your friend the whole time you've been on the show. You and Portia have been back and forth. Portia didn't even come to your wedding. Now all of a sudden, Portia's like your girl and stuff. And when she was trying to throw shade at you, remember, like insinuating that you and Candy and Todd were having little threesomes and stuff. Like, girl, how quickly they forget. I have not forgotten, Shamia. You need to reel it in and remember who your friends are, because that was a mess. Kenya is talking to her nanny. She's just like, I guess she tried to do FaceTime with Mark and the baby and it didn't work out, but it is what it is. Portia goes downstairs because the man who's barbecuing for them that Kenya hired, he's barbecuing. He's got a whole pig on the grill, and Portia's like, I'm vegan. He's like, oops, sorry. And she's like, like, you took off the feet too? It's a lot. I'm vegan. I mean, I don't hate on anybody who's not vegan, but that was a lot. It was a lot to see. And hopefully we won't have to see that pig anymore, because that was a lot. So Candy goes into Marlo's room, and Marlo is just trying to have a heart-to-heart with Candy about the Kenya situation. She's like, I don't know why we keep going back and forth, why we hate each other. And Candy's like, y'all keep holding on to the past hurtful things you said to each other, and you need to let it go. And I feel like Marlo, especially, like, if you're a friend of, you can't be around these women and talking about like a main cast member and expecting things to be copacetic. Like, it's just not going to work. So I feel like hopefully these women can just stop all the hate. I doubt it, but hopefully we can come to a place where they can. Because like I just see this prolonging forever if they don't. I really feel like Marlo needs to just stop like talking about Kenya. I mean, you talked to Toya, you knew she was gonna run to Kenya. Like, what do you expect? You could have just not said anything, and I felt like you would have been in a much better place. But it is what it is. So Shamia and Portia are hanging out by the pool. Shamia is encouraging Portia to get back with Dennis because he's sending these texts talking about how much, oh, I love you, I miss you, I can't keep doing this back and forth. Are we going to go on a date? I miss my baby. And Shamia is encouraging Portia to get back with Dennis. And I'm just like, and Portia's right. Like, Shamia, you're so easy. Like, these women are so easy. Like, and Portia's like soaking it in. I'm like, this man cheated on you while you were pregnant. And allegedly he cheated multiple times after that. This is the kind of man that you want in your life, helping you raise this child. Like, whatever. Like, I just don't understand why they settle for less all the time. Like, you can do better. You can do much better. And the fact that you have like Shamia and Tanya, these women encouraging her to get back with this mess, like, I don't see how that's like good friends. I just don't. Like, your good friends would not encourage you to be with someone who treats you like trash, and only for when you break up, then all of a sudden they want to treat you better. Like, get out of here. Like, I'm done with Shamia. This episode, she's getting on my last nerve. No. Portia, do not get back together with him, but we know she probably will. This back and forth. Just because she doesn't want to have multiple kids by multiple baby daddies. Like, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. But if you want a great man, it's not gonna be with Dennis. It's just not. Kenya, no. I'm with Tanya. We're revoking your host badge because you are a terrible hostess. No, Kenya ordered herself some food. It didn't tell the rest of the ladies so they can order themselves some food. Then they found out she ordered the food. When they complained, she's like, there's food in the fridge. There's plenty of food in the fridge. I have this man roasting a pig for you. Then why did you order food? If there's food in the fridge and you have someone barbecuing, why are you ordering food? And then tell the other ladies. Lord, she pissed Candy off because we know how Candy is about her food. She's like, first, you were sneaky about the jet. You brought your baby and didn't tell nobody. You were a little shady to Marlo. Now you got this crab cake sandwich and you didn't tell nobody. She's like, I'm over it. And I don't blame her. I'd be over it too. What are you doing? Portia's like, I feel like we just like invaded like Kenya and LaToya's trip. Like, she doesn't even want us here. Like, we're just like, we crashed the party because she's treating us like this. Like, why is she doing this? Why? Like, this is just ridiculous, Kenya. Don't ever let her host a trip ever again. So Toya has bought Drew a wig. Everyone is telling her not to give Drew that wig. Even Kenya's like, come back here. Please don't give her that wig. We have not seen her give the wig yet. I hope she doesn't, but I think she's going to. And why? Why, Toya? Why? Why? The ladies are happy. I mean, it took a long ass time, but dinner is ready. They have a feast of food for the vegans and the non-vegans. Ugh, that poor pig. But they have a feast of food. The ladies are very happy. They can finally eat, and they have some good food to eat. Tanya is being asking the chef to serve her because she doesn't want to dig into the pig, and that's what irritates me about some non-vegans. This pig didn't just magically appear on your plate, all right? It was slaughtered, it was murdered, it was cooked, it's on your plate. Serve yourself. Like, don't be acting all like sedity now because you know, like, this poor pig died. You're gonna eat it, so serve yourself. Like, stop trying to make believe that this pig died happy and it's just here. Like, no. That's not how it happened. It was cooked. You know it was a pig. It's cooked. Just serve yourself and eat it. So Kenya calls her out for being spoiled for having people serve her. And she said, why? Because I mean, I understood that part, but Tanya brings up the fact that, like, hey, like, why? Because I wanted to be served lunch while you were eating lunch. And she's like, Kenya's like, there was plenty of food in the fridge. And Portia's like, well, obviously it wasn't good enough for somebody. And Kenya's like, well, your phones worked. Well, you could have told them. This is the problem we have with you, Kenya. You could have told them that you were ordering food. And then they could have ordered their food. Like, I'm done with them. So then Toya, why am I getting all their names mixed up? Tanya, Toya. Toya brings up to Drew in front of all the ladies while they're eating, hey, I shouldn't have been talking about your wig. It was a little messed up. It wasn't plucked. It wasn't tacked down. And Portia's like, okay, don't be shady in your apology. And she's like, it was fake of me to not say this to your face, which I agree. And Drew's like, okay, well, thank you. And she said, I want to get a wig for you. Everybody's like, oh no. And Drew's like, well, thank you, but I get my wigs from the top stylists. I don't know if I believe that, Drew. But Drew's like, so I probably won't wear it. Toya feels bad. But Drew's like, well, I got you something. Everybody's eyes are like, oh no. So Drew gets up from the table. Oh no. I'm just like, what's happening? So as Drew is getting up to go get Toya's gift, Toya's shading her and talking about, like, look what she's wearing. I'm like, Toya, just stop. Drew comes back and is like, so everybody's been telling me about this wig that you wanted to get me. And when you first met me, you didn't like me because of who I played on the game. So I feel like you've been watching me, talking about my wig, talking about who I was on the TV show. You've been watching me. So what I do, you feel like my biggest fan. And what I do for my fans, she whips out her headshot and signs her autograph. It's and she's like, LaToya, my biggest fan. And then hands it to her. Everybody loses their mind, including Kenya, because, whoo, that was some good shade. I felt like that was good. It was appropriate. Toya had nothing to say. She closed Toya's mouth. And good job, Drew. Good job. And she said, you know, what I do with me and my group of friends, when we have a problem, we put it on the table. Toya did that. She addressed it. We're good now. Let's be done. Hats off to Drew, because she's a much better woman than me. I don't know if I would have handled it as well. She handled it excellently. And I feel like Toya should just let it go now because she's been sunned and she needs to never bring up Drew's name again, especially since she got her autograph. Oh, Lord. So then now Marlo tries to bring up her grievances with Kenya, talking about how hurt she was to be in the little room. I sat there and I was like, this woman really hates me. Kenya's like, whatever. Like, Marlo, you've talked about me over and over again, and then you're mad that you get the reaction from me. And then Marlo's like, what? I talked about your fake butt and your skin? Oh, gosh. So they're going back and forth at it. Marla accepts no responsibility. She just keeps throwing jabs. Like, I don't know what you expect from Kenya. Now, Kenya's a shady person and she be doing some mess. But Marlo is not innocent at all. And if you're gonna talk about someone, you can't get mad how they respond. Marlo, stop. I feel like if she had just apologized for the stuff that she said to Kenya and said, like, please, let's just move on and squash this, Kenya would have done it. But Marlo is shady and messy, and they were arguing. Marlo walks away, Kenya's like, bye. And that is how we end this episode. This was way better. Like, this was a much better episode. I hope that people are done being bored with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was boring. The few episodes that we were getting was boring, but like, I'm a Real Housewives fan, so I'll watch it no matter what. But I felt like this was a lot more entertaining, so hopefully we can keep getting some good episodes and people don't just disappear from Atlanta, because it is the top rated Real Housewives show, and I hope it stays that way. But let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're in the know when I release a new video. And please subscribe. I would love to have you a part of Steph and Key TV. Thanks everyone. Stay safe.